Welcome back in, everyone, to the Lucky Bets show. We've got Dylan Corbett back with us today. And Dylan, last week, really nothing too crazy happened. Like, games kind of went how they were supposed to go. There was a couple games where teams scored a lot more than you thought, something like that. The two that really stuck out to me was Cincinnati. They pulled it off against Kansas City again.
Yep.
And then this is just Vegas at perfect work. Washington and the Giants. The over under was 40 points.
Yep.
They tie 20-20.
I was on the over. Brutal push. I'll tell you that much. Scoreless overtime.
Just ridiculous.
What was how about them Broncos? I told you that was one big line I hit. I had the money line. I thought they were gonna get it done. Tyler Huntley, of course, finds a way to do it. I kind of like them again this week. It's weird. The lines are like the Texans haven't been able to cover. They look terrible against a terrible Deshaun Watson, but the teased Texans, you're getting some great lines there. Broncos too, like a 10-point teaser is like, it's a lock, 21.5 or something for the Broncos. So that's been interesting. How about the Vikings winning another one score game? I was sweating a teased under on that one. That was a goal. Oh, what was it? Stop in the end zone there, and another thriller in the Twin Cities. Vikings fans are like crying after the game. They think this team is special. It's weird. Weird year for the NFL. So much parity, and then of course Brady finding a way. When there's a will, there's a Brady.
Yeah, back to his old tricks. I mean, now they're what, sitting in first place in the division?
I've been saying it all year. Yeah, they were basically going to be first no matter what, but this win certainly helps them a lot. And I'm just saying, like, if they can avoid the Cowboys in that 4-5 matchup, which who knows, keep an eye out on the Eagles. Cowboys have an easy schedule. Cowboys are putting up 35 points a game plus with Dak back. That's a scary team, but I still always think McCarthy's going to blow it somehow.
Yeah.
And Jerry.
Yeah, and let's be honest, I'm not sold on that offense. I think that defense is just absolutely one of the best in the NFL. So,
Right. And you like 49ers in years past, they haven't had the offense to kind of complement the defense. The Bucks had Brady with a great defense when they got to Mahomes. The offense is there. Can it be there in the playoffs? This might be the best offense we've seen for a defense as good with it.
for sure. All right, so we're looking into week 14. A couple of things that caught my eye. We've got Minnesota is the slight underdog at home against Detroit. I'm going to go ahead and take that and give me the over. I didn't write down what the over under was, but give me the over in that game. I believe it was like 53.
So that game's actually in Detroit.
Was it in Detroit?
Yeah, so they are going.
That damn site lied to me.
So that is the only reason why Detroit would be favored. Like this is another game where Vegas is like, The weirdest one was when the Cowboys were favored in Minnesota on the road, and then everyone ended up showing why that was a thing, right? That game was a blowout. So, again, everyone's flocking to the Vikings. I don't know. I've been laughing at both these teams for the last couple of years, so I don't know who's going to win. It's probably going to be a one-score game because the Vikings love to play that. The over-under's at 52.5. So, yeah, it should be a great fantasy game.
So, I'm not touching the line, but give me that over because it's going to happen. Then Dallas, minus 2,000, a 17-point spread, over-under of 45. Give me the over, and the spread would probably be more than 17, I guess. They're minus 2,000.
Yeah, crazy.
Are we getting set up to just have one person bet on the Texans and cash in on everybody?
No kidding. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. The Texans might be that bad though. Kyle Allen, my goodness, I'm stretched super thin in a super flex dynasty league where Kyle Allen is my starting quarterback as a super flex. It's brutal. At least they leave. I'm worried he gets benched. At least they're keeping him out there. To at least get up to like 8 points or something. Yeah, I guess I'm going to stay away from the Texans. I might double dip and go for the Broncos again just because, Russell Wilson's so bad. the Broncos are so bad, but the line is just so appealing. I'll probably tease it, try and get 2 touchdowns there. Chargers, in the battle of that draft, Tua and Justin Herbert. I don't know. I like the points there with the Chargers, as that should probably be a good game. I'm hoping for it at least Sunday Night Football. Chargers a home dog. Deshaun looked terrible, but the Browns look good.
The defense,
So
holy hell.
yeah, no kidding. And now was it the Texans? And you know what's so crazy? We're laughing about the Texans. They're like the best defense against quarterbacks because one, they don't like no one throws it because they're beating them so bad. But Deshaun was set up to have a great game, and then he puts up 4 points. So I guess the what superstition lives on there.
Yeah.
I'm keeping an eye on the Browns, and then if Trevor Lawrence plays, I like the Jaguars.
There you go. I also like the Jaguars. I'm going to take the under on the KC and Denver game. I think at 43, it's a Denver Broncos football game. I know it's the Chiefs. I know they're a good offense, but that's the way the Broncos go this year. They play an
Sure.
absolutely garbage game, maybe
Oh.
13-7, or fucking what was it? 13-12, 9-10 this week, something.
Yeah.
I mean,
9 to 10
terrible.
this week. Yeah.
Yeah. So give me the under there. And then how about Tampa Bay going up against San Francisco and Mr. Irrelevant?
Yeah.
I'll take Tampa Bay there. But an interesting stat, Detroit. They started 1-6 and 3-4 against the spread, giving up 32 opponent points per game, last in the NFL ranked there. Since then, they're 4-1, 5-0 against the spread, 19.8 points per game given up to opposing teams, which is ranked 11th. I mean, I don't know if Detroit is really legit, but they're coming they're coming back, and
And
this
Amon-Ra
will
St. Brown getting healthy. They just got
yeah.
Jameson Williams back, who's going to work into it. Yeah, I think they turned it around right after I called out Dan Campbell, which I love to do. I mean, Dan Campbell, I'm still not sold, but here it is. I mean, you beat the Packers, okay, but look at them this year. That's solid in division. Detroit fans getting up for that. You go on the road, beat the Bears. Look at the Bears. Thrilling game. They win it. Look at the Giants now. You beat the Jaguars, but again, they nearly took out the Bills. So winning's winning, and yeah, they have looked a lot better.
This could be a shocker game this week.
That's why they're favored, I guess.
Yeah. All right, let's hop into DFS, where I barely eked it out over you this week. 108 to 100.92. It didn't help you that your defense got -6 points.
That's so bad.
Did not help at all, but we both washed on David Njoku. Kind of tough.
Out. Right.
But the 20-point performances from both or two of my receivers and the single-digit performances from two of yours helped me out a little bit to get over the edge there. So this week, at the quarterback position, we've been talking about that Minnesota-Detroit game. Let's just dip our toes into the whole thing. We're going Kirk Cousins against Detroit for 6,100. He had 18 points the last time they played Detroit. I'll take 18 points this time. I don't need anything special. Just need a consistent, good line and not single digits. That tends to happen sometimes.
Yeah, sure. I thought Kirk looked terrible in that Jets game, but the Jets were, that's an improved defense, and he figured it out a little bit as the game went on. I'm going to go. You can't ignore Joe Burrow. I know Cleveland looks pretty good, but Burrow at 7,000, I think with Jamar Chase back, he's going to look. He just came up big, got another win against Kansas City on the road, and I like Joey B.
There you go. Running backs, spending, somewhere in the middle. We're going Tony Pollard against Houston because it's fucking Houston. 6,700, and Pollard in his last 5 games has scored 20 points or more 4 times, and in 2 of those games it's been 30 or more. So he's going off. It's against Houston. Give me all those points. And then my second running back will be Latavius Murray, plugging him back into the DFS lineup going up against KC. 5,200. He's had 17, 10, and 10 in his last three. He puts a touchdown on the board in the last two. He's at 17, 17, 17. So I'll take that line pretty much any time.
Yep, I'm rolling with Murray as well. I like your point about Pollard. He's a top 10 running back in a timeshare, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And Zeke's actually came on because he's just a touchdown machine lately, Dallas. So I'm going Murray, and then how about your boy coming out of nowhere, DeAndre Swift, little 20-point game. He's still cheap. I think you got to use him, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think especially in a game you want to show something against Minnesota. He's shown he had a good game rushing, 4.4 yards per carry, found the end zone. They're using him in the receiving game. I think he's a good option there for 5,800.
Yeah,
But you also
and
have that potential of Jamal Williams stealing all the scores.
well, and I think the reason Swift finally, had a good game last week is because I said I'm taking Jamal Williams in DFS.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so we'll go on to the wide receivers. I'm going with Jay Jettas and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
yeah.
Jettas is 9,000. He only had 4.4 against Detroit in week 3. So this is going to be a redemption week. He's going to go out, have a huge game. St. Brown, he's 7,800. He's had 27 and 34 in the last 2 games. He is back officially.
Yep.
And he had 13 against Minnesota in week 3. So let's call this one a redemption too. They're both going to have huge games. It's going to be fantasy bonanza. Going to be great for me. And that's what we're going with.
Yes.
Garrett Wilson will be my third wide receiver for 5,900. He's going against Buffalo, but Buffalo's kind of got a susceptible secondary. So we'll see what happens. And Wilson, he's got back-to-back 20-point weeks. Let's keep it rolling with that Ohio State alum right there.
Before I get to my receivers, I am on Jay Jettas, so that is the one I'm with you. And I've got another one from that game, but it's not who you might think. Jamal Williams, I think, has 8 touchdowns from the 1-yard line. That's incredible. And like Goff has actually gotten robbed because all his receivers get tackled like in the 5. It's crazy. But that's fantasy for you. All right, so I got Jay Jettas, and how about this? I'm feeling it. Yuck. But the targets are there. Adam Thielen. He had the random 20-point game against New England, but that was because it was a revenge game for when Belichick was yelling at him from so many years ago. Yeah, thumbs down.
The boos are roaring in right now.
But he loves Detroit. 6 for 61 on the touchdown. So I think again, tons of points. Maybe he scores. That's kind of what I'm banking on at 4,900. And then you can't ignore CD Lamb. Dallas offense spend money. But if Dak doesn't do well, that could blow up in my face there because randomly Houston is so damn good against quarterbacks.
Yeah. But with CD Lamb, he gets involved in a lot of different ways. They were giving him jet sweeps this past week and end around. So
Yep.
Regardless, I think he'll be involved at the tight end position and flex position. I'm glad that I know you and I have stolen your strategy.
Yes.
We're going with Greg Dulcich going up against Kansas City, 3,400. And if anybody doesn't know yet, he's the Broncos tight end, rookie tight end from
Russell loves him.
UCLA, right? That's where he was drafted from.
No idea.
Yeah. So there we go. That's who we're going with. He had a good game last week, 14 and a half, had 8 targets. Go ahead and give that to me. And then we're going to flex Austin Hooper against Jacksonville because he's cheap.
No.
And he's got a chance. He's at least a starter.
Dulcich did go to UCLA. How about that? A little Chip Kelly product. Yeah, Russell loves him. I'm going Dulcich as well for my tight end, flexing as well. Dalton Schultz, Dak loves him. He's getting closer to that guy that he did just have a terrible game. All right, here you go. So he's boom or bust. 4 weeks ago, 17 points against the Packers, followed up with 5 points. And then he popped off for 19. He just had 5 points. So let's see if he gets 20. That's Houston.
Yeah.
I'm worried. We'll see.
He was one of my Mr. Consistencies last year. Just hasn't worked out that way this year. Defense, just talked about in the lines. Give me the Bucks against Mr. Irrelevant. Give me the Bucks defense against Mr. Irrelevant this week. 2,900. That's I feel like it's going to be a good game. And, Purdy looked pretty good last week, but who knows what we're going to get this week.
I am rolling with a $100 cheaper option. Steelers with Watt back have been solid. Kind of a boomer. It's been an on-off type thing, but they against Cincinnati, they got destroyed, but still put up 2 points because they're getting picks, they're getting sacks, and now Tyler Huntley comes to town. Can Huntley, he's a solid quarterback, but if the Steelers, I think, played at their capability, they could probably get me 10 points there.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, he that's a quarterback that came in last year as well and played pretty decent.
Had like
Offense,
one crazy good game and then like
yeah,
3 bad games. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens. I do like Pittsburgh as well, especially because even with Lamar, but the Baltimore offense was kind of struggling to move. So
Yeah.
I think
Agreed.
that's a pretty good pick. All right, let's get into props. We're just declaring Dylan as the winner. He was so far ahead that
Thank you.
we're gonna kind of start over.
A little wash though.
But
You got me in DFS.
yeah, so Dylan is
Oh,
the winner of those.
sorry. We just had breaking news. Kyle Allen just got benched. Oh, all right.
There goes your fantasy. And
Okay.
anyway, we'll get into prop bets. All of these rapid fire. Who's going to have more fantasy points? Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow. Hurts going against Giants. Burrow against Cleveland.
Rolling with my DFS. I'm going to go with Burrow there. I think he's hot. He's having a good year. I think he's got MVP odds, even though it's kind of Mahomes' to lose right now.
Yeah, pretty far out, I would imagine, with some of the other guys up there, but
Yeah.
never out of it. I'm going with Hurts there. Just the dual threatness. I don't even know if threatness is a word, but we're going with it for today. Now, next one, Cousins against Detroit, Geno against Carolina. More fantasy points.
Give me Geno. I did have I had a decision to make between Geno or Deshaun Watson last week. Stuck with Geno, paid off immensely. I think he's a top 10, top 8 quarterback. You just got to, as shocking as that sounds, you just got to believe it.
Just got to ride the wave. I'm also going with Geno there. As much as I want Kirk to score a bunch of points for my DFS, like I said, I don't need anything crazy. I just need a good baseline. I think Geno could go over that baseline. So we're going with Geno there. Yeah. Josh Jacobs or Joe Mixon, both guys questionable. Jacobs going against the Rams, Mixon against Cleveland. And I believe Mixon, it's just been a concussion, right? He's been out the past couple of weeks in the concussion protocol.
Yeah, he's supposed to come back this week, but Jacobs has been the more sure thing in terms of actually playing, even with that questionable. And I mean, P-Ryan's been solid for the Bengals too. So it's like, what if even if Mixon does play, what if P-Ryan steals some of that workload because he has been so good and maybe Mixon's not 100%. So I'll roll Jacobs there because I believe Amir Abdullah is questionable too. Zamir White, what has he actually been? So I'll roll with Jacobs. I think he plays in pops.
Yeah, I'm going with Jacobs as well. He's actually part of what has resurrected one of my only playoff team for fantasy this year. He's all those touchdowns, big time games. And I had a little inkling of a thought going into the season. I was like, they're gonna have a better passing game. Normally that can set up, running opportunities. I didn't think it'd be to that magnitude of him playing the way he has this year, but he's doing fantastic. Ramondre Stevenson or Tony Pollard. Stevenson going up against Arizona. Pollard against Houston.
Just fantasy points?
Yep.
I'll go Ramondre. He's just the workhorse. Damian Harris might be back, but I'll go Ramondre.
I'm going with Pollard. Just like I said, over 20 points in the last 4 games and or 4 of the last 5 games and 30 points twice. I mean, it's going to be kind of hard to outscore him if he can continue to do that against Houston of all teams, who is just an awful running defense.
Right.
All right. Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's getting more fantasy points.
Something's weird with this line and the way Amon-Ra's been playing. If the Vikings are going to lose, it's because they don't get Justin Jefferson involved, so I'll go with Amon-Ra.
There you go. I'm going with Jefferson. Can't ever go against Jay Jettas on. I love St. Brown, but
yeah,
Jefferson, I think, is the best player in football right now. Micah Parsons is up there as well right now.
Right.
But
young guns.
Lord. Young guns for sure. Devontae Adams going up against the Rams, or Stephon Diggs going up against the Jets.
I feel like Diggs has been a little bit more reliable. Adams obviously pops, but then sometimes you can get away from him. I don't have him in any fantasy teams, so maybe I am wrong on that and biased. But yeah, I'll go opposite of Adams there. Diggs.
All right. I'm going with Adams because the Rams defense not all that great, and we kind of touched on the Jets defense. Sauce Gardner is an absolute stud, but he doesn't follow around. He just sticks to his one side. I listened to that last week, so maybe Diggs, they just schemed to keep him away from Sauce Gardner, but eventually he's going to make his way over there, I think.
Sure.
So I'm going Adams. CeeDee Lamb going up against Houston. Jalen Waddle going up against the Chargers.
Give me Lamb, baby. See if he can. He's in my DFS. I'll double down, see if he can do it.
That's where I'm going as well. I wanted to do Lamb and Tyreek Hill, but I felt like that was a little too easy on Tyreek Hill's side, so I went with Jalen Waddle. All right, last one. Garrett Wilson going up against Buffalo, or Devontae Smith going up against the Giants.
Smith's been hot. I think he's going to continue it. Yeah, I'll go Devonta.
And I'm going with Garrett Wilson. Smith, I've had to reluctantly keep in my lineup the past few weeks, but it's worked out for me. So
yeah,
not too mad about it. But Garrett Wilson also in those lineups and is in the DFS this week. So got to go with Garrett Wilson.
I dropped him in a league. Just God, when he was just going through that stretch.
You fool.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. But that is it for this week, guys. Tune in next week. Find out if I take an even bigger lead in DFS or if Dylan catches up. See how we did in prop bets and how we did with the lines. But check Dylan out on everything. Dylan_Corbet everywhere for socials and for videos and podcasts, things of that sort. But thanks for joining, guys. Thanks, Dylan, for being on today. See you guys next week.